there's still an exercise historically of, I get the invoice. How do we reconcile? Where are their variances? What are the questions that we need to ask of our partners so we can go and then complete and make the payments out? So one of the use cases I've been building is first, build a corpus of all of the financials that we have across our business. So I have a one-stop shop now where I can go and see, here's everything I've received from my BPO. Here's everything I've received from my tech partners. So here are all my assembled costs. Here's my Zendesk costs. And then even from that telehealth side. But the piece in terms of the day-to-day, month-to-month exercise is really wanted to focus on how can we solve that reconciliation. So to give you a bit of a flavor, and I'm going to share my screen here. So this is my Claude instance. So what you can see here is, if you look at this prompt, I'm basically telling the tool that act as a finance analyst. You have expert knowledge of invoicing and the operational management. And the task here is to reconcile the invoice that we received for the month of April with the hours out of Assemble. You'll see here, so there's a lot of you today in the MCP server on your operational productivity and all of that. There is still some deduping that's happening on the BPO billing page. It's not quite there, and we've talked with the team about, but even in this case, you can see what I did is I effectively did an export of the metric from that page. So now that I've given it that context, I'm saying, what is the task? We have the financial tracking skill. You already have this invoice. You can see I'm not even having to present that to the tool. Look for the productive hours to avoid duplication. Here's the site you should use. Here's the main cues to look at. We obviously have some line items and teams that are not necessarily in our workforce tool, providing the context in terms of what it's doing, and telling it, here's the format that we're looking for. Here's what I want the output to be. And you can see here, it goes through this exercise. It finds the invoice. It pulls it out of Google Drive. It does the analysis. But if I flip over, I'll show you what the actual output was. So here, an example in the lovely view on this. This is the artifact that it created. So it's telling us, here's the total invoice hours. Here's the billable hours it received from Assembled. What are variances? And it sees the cost. It's telling me what the gap is. And then here it goes through this exercise of comparing all the hours, lining up the line items to the specific roles. And we see these hour comparisons. What are the dollar variances? Even if I slide down here a little bit, I'll just kind of snapshot. It even gave me the individual descriptions, the different line items. What are the hours? What are the rates? What's the cost? Is it included in this reconciliation or not? So again, this helps us kind of close a gap of, before this would be a long-term exercise, or I'd have my vendor manager would be going in, pulling these reports from Assemble and lining all of these up, interrogating it out. And now we have something very clean and effectively where we do have variation. Here's something we can share directly with the vendor. Here's what we're seeing. Help us understand what are these gaps, what are these opportunities.